Hello, everyone, and welcome to Book Break, the official podcast of the Greece Public Library, where we dive into great reads and everything bookish. I'm Claire, your host, and today my fellow readers are Molly and Megan.
Hello.
Hi.
And we are packing up our sunscreen, sunglasses, and you guessed it, plenty of books. So that's right. This is the episode for all the books that you're going to want to toss into your beach bag this summer. And that's whether you're headed to the lake, the pool, or just your front porch with a glass of lemonade. I wish I had a porch swing. I wish I had a porch, first of all.
Yeah.
Does the HOA allow porch swings?
No. I do have a patio, though. Living
Patio
large.
swing.
Yeah. So it's time to think about summer reading at the library, too. Can you,
Yeah.
Molly, you want to tell us a little bit? We're going to have a kickoff soon.
Yep. Our kickoff is going to be Saturday, June 21st. You can drop in anytime between 10 and noon. And it's not just for kids, because why should kids get to have all the fun? We're going to have an adult tote bag craft, and there's tons of raffle prizes that you can get if you sign up for summer reading on that day for kids, for teens, for adults, and kids, families. The Pigeon, Mo Willem's Pigeon character is going to be here for a meet and greet. And so June 21st is the first day you can sign up.
Right. So, and there's going to be lots of prizes that you can earn tickets for throughout the summer.
Yeah, our grand prizes are great this year.
They really are. So, and that's, like Molly said, for all ages, from babies through adult. So,
I'm excited to meet the pigeon.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm real like fangirl over the pigeon.
Is that on the kickoff day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I think, you're working that day too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Come see me.
All right.
Yep. Claire and I
June
will be here as
21st.
well.
And the pigeon.
And the pigeon. Don't let him drive the bus, though.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
right. Okay, so we are going to break this out into a couple of different categories that we thought were really good for summer. The first one we're going to do is kind of contemporary and rom-com. So if you're in the mood for something light, look no further. We've got you covered. But so I'm going to start with my first one. My first one was called The Passion Project by London Sperry, and it just came out in April of this year. So if your 20s are supposed to be the best years of your life, Bennett Taylor is failing miserably. So she is a temp worker in New York City. She's got no direction. She's got no future. She's got no social life. And what she's in this state of mind from is she's lost her first love. Her boyfriend in college was in a very tragic accident.
Oh, no.
And really, she just has not recovered from this. So her roommate takes it upon herself to set up a dating app for Bennett and sets her up. She actually starts communicating with a guy named Henry on whatever app she's on, and she sets up a date, but she stands him up on the first date.
She
Yeah.
nervous.
She was way too nervous. She had a
Yeah.
panic attack going into the bar where they were supposed to meet. So anyway, Henry actually meets up with her because she is now in the restaurant where he works, and she's sick in the bathroom.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, and they get to talking, and she tells him that she's really just not ready to date yet. She's still in a state of grief. So he starts talking to her and says, well, you know, what do you like to do? Just as friends, what do you want to do? And she says, really, I have no passion. I have no passion for anything. So he takes it upon himself to take her places on Saturdays in New York City, and they try all kinds of things. And they begin to call it the Passion Project. Like, what is she going to find that she likes to do? So they find out about art and tattooing. They rappel off skyscrapers. Yeah, they really go all out into this. Me, I would take like a pottery class, you know?
Something quiet.
Right. So anyway, of course, it has a happy ending. You know, eventually, even though they're friends, she's going to finally reopen her heart, see Henry's a great guy.
I bet you she found some hobbies and a passion as well.
Oh, yeah. So,
I think that Henry is her passion.
yes. Well, she's got to come to terms with her past. So
Yeah.
it does end up being a little bit more than just, she's lied about some certain things. Of course, why do these people always lie?
I don't
I don't
hate
know.
it. I can't stand it. I
But
hate
but
the
it
lies.
always is a thing.
Yeah, there's always lies.
Yeah.
You always have to have secrets in books.
But
Yes.
still, I think it's a good summer read because it's got that nice ending.
Yeah.
So, What do you got for us, Megan?
Okay, so this is gonna sound like the exact same book. Oh no! So I picked it's "Promise Me Sunshine" by Cara Stone, and I think this just came out this year too. I've been seeing it on like new releases and everything, and it's about a young woman named Lenny who has recently lost her best friend to cancer, and they were like soulmates, like other half, like ride or die. And her life becomes even more turned upside down when she meets a grumpy stranger who swears he can help her live again. So after her best friend is Lou, so they're Lenny and Lou. She is feeling extremely lost. She doesn't talk to her parents. She hasn't gone home ever since Lou died. She just rides like the ferry every night because she has a job, so she'll ride the ferry over and over again, and then she'll go to work in the morning.
So is she in New York City too?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Second New York City book, second title that starts with P.
Ooh, a theme, Molly. We're looking at you. Might have to change your books.
I'm gonna.
Are you going to break it, Molly?
I'm gonna break it.
Okay.
So the only thing that she can handle right now is her temporary babysitting job. She works for a single mom, Reese, and her sweet daughter, Ainsley. And what Lenny can't handle is that grumpy man ends up being Ainsley's uncle, Miles, and he kind of hates her right off the bat. He's like, "You're disorganized." He asks Reese, the mom, like if she's a drug addict. Like,
no.
Because obviously she's grieving. She's kind of in shambles, but she loves working with Ainsley. And so they end up spending time together. Miles is always around, and it turns out that Miles surprisingly knows a lot about grief. He's also experienced similar things. So he offers her a proposition. He'll help her complete everything on her Live Again list that Lou created. It's like laminated. She carries it around. It's all these things that Lou wanted Lenny to do after she was gone.
Kind of like a bucket list.
Kind of like a bucket list, yeah. So she was like, well, I know I'm going to be gone. She's like, I want you to keep living after I'm gone. And so if Miles helps her with that list, then Miles wants Lenny to help connect with Ainsley and overcome his complicated relationship with Reese because he's in the family, but they're kind of strained. And Lenny doubts that anything can fill that void that Lou has left behind, but as she spends more time with Miles, she's surprised to discover that sometimes losing everything is the first step to finding yourself.
Oh.
So it's really
Sounds
cute,
sweet.
and I brought it to the beach. I read it on the beach, so it was very, very cute, and it's surprisingly light for a book about grief. I kind of expected it to be a little more sad. Like the cover is bright and colorful, but I expected it to be a little more sad. It definitely drew a few tears. I was definitely crying a little bit, but I felt like it was like it like wrapped me in like a warm hug, and it kind of like shifts your perspective again, like on life. And I feel like the Passion Project probably does the same thing because you might think about like, oh, I want new passions and I want to do these things. And this whole time she's kind of like pessimistic. She's like, it's not going to work. She's like, I don't want to do any of these things. But he kind of helps her. And it's just really nice.
Both these books remind me of, did you read Summer Fridays
I did,
last
yes,
year
yeah.
in New York? And I love that one too. So
One of yours sounds like Summer Saturdays in New York.
right.
Yeah.
So what you got, Molly?
So mine is called First Time Caller by B.K. Borison, and I chose a romance, which is not my usual thing.
I'm
but
so proud
I
of
know,
you,
this is so
Molly.
exciting.
But I really liked this one. It was cute and funny and not set in New York City. It's set in Baltimore. Yeah, and they drop quite a few places in Baltimore, which I think,
I got to read this now.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, Claire,
yeah,
it's so
it
good.
was cute.
It's so good.
So it is inspired loosely by the movie Sleepless in Seattle, which I watched decades ago, and I think it was a cute rom-com. So our main character is Aidan Valentine. He's a 30-something-year-old radio host of Baltimore's late-night call-in romance hotline called Heartstrings. The only problem is Aidan, not so sure he believes in true love anymore. He's gotten jaded and cynical, so ratings have gone down for the show. His boss isn't quite happy with him.
It would be like you and I hosting the show.
Yes. People calling in with their problems and me saying, "Oh, come on."
He's like, get over it.
Yes. So our female main character is named Lucy. She's a single mom, works as an auto mechanic, and she has a 12-year-old daughter named Maya. Now, Lucy is a hopeless romantic, but she hasn't really dated in a while, and she's kind of decided that she's content with her life as it is. She's focusing on being a mom and a good friend. But her daughter doesn't quite agree. And unbeknownst to Lucy, one late night, her daughter Maya calls into none other than Aiden Valentine to tell him about her mom, Lucy, and how Lucy really needs to find her true love. The call goes viral. Lucy ends up getting on the call as well. She finds out that it's happening.
Oh, gosh.
And so things start happening. This was a fun book. It had a lot of witty banter in it. Definitely has some spice. And I just thought it was a fun book. The characters didn't irritate me, which is amazing for a romance. And I was rooting for them. There's going to be a second one coming out, I think, next year that I'm actually going to read about, of course, Aiden's best friend at the radio station, the weatherman.
And he's so funny. He was my
Yes.
favorite part.
Yeah, you read this one too.
Yeah, I loved it. But like honestly, like he was like my favorite part. And like they like tease too because like the protagonist in the other one is like the weather woman like at the station next door, and she like takes his parking spot, and he's like, she doesn't even know how to report the weather. It's not even raining. You know, like he's already kind of like bitter like towards her. So it's like I like when they set
maybe like
things up.
enemies
so,
to lovers.
so I got to
Yeah.
ask you, did they go out for crab cakes on a date? Is this authentic Baltimore? Did they drink a crush?
I don't
The
think
national,
do they even
like,
go out like
Orange Crush?
I feel like it takes them a
I
while.
know they dropped some sports teams, and they did talk about
okay.
Baltimore.
Okay.
I don't remember the details,
Oh,
Claire.
gosh,
my
Molly.
only complaint about this book was it was a little long for a rom-com. It clocked in at like 430 pages.
Oh, wow.
Romance books
which-
are getting really long. I will,
Yeah.
as an avid romance reader, I will say they are getting unnecessary. Even some of my favorite authors, I'm like, why is this book 500 pages?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I know the fact it's
We
a
got
rom-com.
other things to read, people.
Yeah, it's
You
a
know?
rom-com with a cute cover. I know how it's going to end
Yeah.
already. I don't need 430
Yeah.
pages
And-
to get there. But I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, our next segment is some people like rom-coms, but there are people like Molly and I that like murder in the summer.
Summer
Thrills
murder.
and chills by the water. So,
If you're sick of the romance,
yes.
Yes.
kill that.
Yeah. Kill that and
Kill
actually
that.
get into a murder.
Yeah.
So, mine is a new book. It's called The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. It literally just came out on June 3rd. So, this one I thought was pretty good. I've gotten a little bit tired of some thrillers because the plot lines are a lot the same.
Yeah.
But this
Unreliable
one is
narrators. And
right. Yeah,
McFadden.
I'm done with unreliable narrators, but I digress. Okay, this one is about a young woman. She is a ghostwriter. She's kind of shot herself in the foot. She got on some kind of show or podcast where she made negative remarks about a fellow writer. So now she is being literally blackballed kind of by the industry. But this mysterious offer comes in while her agent is trying to find her employment before she loses her house. And a famous horror writer named Vincent Taylor wants someone to ghostwrite his memoir. So she's in such a desperate predicament to get money that she says yes. However, no one knows that Vincent is actually Olivia's father.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And when Vincent was in high school, his brother and sister were murdered in their home.
Oh, boy.
And for a long time, Vincent was the prime suspect. But he did supposedly had an ironclad alibi. But what Olivia realizes is she's not going to be able to get to the heart of this memoir until she finds out what happened on that night in June in 1975 in their house. So I really thought it was pretty good. It was an interesting premise, and it flashes back and forth. It's told from like 3 different points of view. Vincent, when he was young, his now deceased sister has chapters as well. And then
I
you
love
have Olivia, who was the actual ghostwriter, and what she's trying to do in today's world to figure out what happened to these people. So yeah, I thought it was really good. It sucked me in. I think I read this in like a day. So I'd say if you like this kind of thrillery type thing, that The Ghostwriter would be for you. And were you the one that was looking at it with me when we unpacked the boxes?
I don't think so, but I talked to you about it the other day because
Yeah.
I saw it on your Goodreads, and I was like, immediately, I need this. I
Yeah.
need this.
But the spine, was it you, Mindy? It's like flames, and it's gorgeous. You know, those sprayed covers are really
yeah.
in now. But this one
the edges.
kind of looked like it was on fire. It was really cool looking. So
And that I feel like that always hooks me too. Like I don't know
Oh,
if,
yeah.
if you guys saw Geneva Rose, her new one. It's got like blood on like the,
Yeah.
like, the edges are like they're like
At
it's
first
like
I
it's like
thought it
covered
was
in blood.
like-
Perfect divorce.
Yes,
Is that
yep,
what it is?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I need that.
Yeah.
Not because of the book. I just want the sprayed edges.
So this one is kind of a slow burn, but you really start building up near the end when these stories start tying together, and you do find out what happens. So
Is it like a satisfying ending? Like, did you find like
yeah,
like that's what I was hoping for?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
I
it
feel like
wasn't
that's my thing lately with like thrillers. Is like the ending always like lets me down.
right. Yeah. No, I like this one. So
Okay, very cool. Mine is kind of an old one, I think. I feel like I read it a while ago. It's Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica. I recommend this book to everyone. Like, if people come in and they're like looking for a mystery or a thriller, I'm like, you should read Local Woman Missing. The description that I found online that I was going to write about was very vague, so I don't want to get too much into it because I feel like it just sucks you in. But in a small town in Chicago, Shelley Thibault is the first woman to go missing. It's this in like the similar neighborhood, and then not long after, a woman, Meredith Dickey, and her 6-year-old daughter Delilah vanished just blocks away from where Shelby was last seen. And of course, it brings fear to this like peaceful small community. And of course, like on the surface, these incidents are seemingly unconnected. And so like the police are looking into it and they're finding out that there's like more questions. Like, what was Shelby doing, like out running in the middle of the night? Like, where was she going? Why did they take the daughter? And so the case eventually goes cold, like for Shelby and all the other women that also went missing. But now 11 years later, so Delilah is now 17 and she comes back to her family. She kind of just like shows up. Somebody finds her, calls the police, and they're like, oh my God, this is the girl that went missing. And everyone wants to know what happened to her, but no one is prepared for what they find. And so basically she comes back, she doesn't talk. She's like very shy. Like, and her dad is kind of like, wants to know, where is my wife? Where is your mother? And then there's she's a brother named Leo, who is kind of like, get out of here. Like, why? Like, because it's kind of, uprooting his life. And
Right.
the dad is now focusing all of his attention on Delilah. And he's like, oh my God, like, we all thought you were dead. Because they kind of go through that grieving period where we think you're dead.
Right.
And now you're back. And this is another one that has multiple perspectives. So I'm pretty sure there's like police officer, the dad, there it flashes back. You get Shelby's perspective, Delilah's. There are so many. And then even like Leo, the brother, gets a few chapters. So I know like some people, I've heard like some complaints that there's like almost too many.
Too complicated
Yeah,
to
and
keep
there's
them
like
all straight.
one of my friends is like, there's too many like middle-aged white women to like keep track of, and all their names kind of blend together. But I loved it, and like the ending was not what I expected, because for a while I was like, oh, I got, when you're a detective and you think you've got it, and I was like, I know exactly what's going to happen.
Big twist.
You don't. I thought it was a big twist. I feel like I am usually easily entertained by thrillers and things, but like that one like really, really shocked me. And so whenever people come in, I'm like, you should try this. And I have some of her other books that I want to read too, but there was something about this one that like, and it kind of, kind of freaks you out. At least me a little bit, because like things with kids like freak me out. Like when kids
Right,
go missing
yeah.
and you get her perspective like in captivity, like where she was, and I loved it. I loved it.
I've never read that author, but I know a lot of people like her. They mention her on Monday Night Book Chat quite a bit. So
And I know- I
I should pick something up by
I
her.
think she just wrote a new one. I think it's She's Not Sorry, or
She's got quite a few,
I can
I
picture
think.
like the
Yeah.
cover, and I think it's like She's Not Sorry.
Yeah.
And I have one of her other ones that I've been meaning to get into. Oh, Just the Nicest Couple. I have that one by her that I've heard is really, really good.
Yeah, I'll have to pick one up. The one I read is also fairly new, just came out in the last few months. It's called Julie Chan is Dead by Leanne Zhang, and it's her debut novel. She's a young author, second-generation Chinese-Canadian author, and I picked this one up because she's one of our virtual author talks that we have, and so I listened to her speak about the book after I read it, and the premise is that Chloe and Julie are twins, and they were separated as very young children after their parents die. Chloe goes on to be adopted by a wealthy white couple in New York City and grows up surrounded by privilege, while Julie stays behind in their hometown and lives with her aunt, her penny-pinching aunt, who really is not too nice. Now that they're adults, Chloe is fabulously wealthy and is a social media influencer, while Julie is struggling and unhappy working as a grocery store clerk. Now, as adults, they haven't really had much contact, but one day Julie gets kind of a mysterious phone call from Chloe in which it sounds like Chloe is in danger, really distressed. So Julie's concerned, travels to New York City where Chloe lives in a great apartment and discovers Chloe dead on the kitchen floor.
Bum, bum.
Yes. So what is any self-respecting identical twin who works as a grocery store clerk to do when she's the first one to discover her twins, rich twins' dead
Steals
body?
her identity.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
at that point, Julie Chan is dead. So she steps into her twin's life as a rich social media influencer, gets all the free gifts, the fame, is loving it, but starts to realize that maybe the twins' life, I mean, she ended up dead on the floor, maybe the twins' life isn't as perfect as she thought. So the second half of the book, I'll warn you, it gets a little wild, it's a little unhinged, but it was fun. It was kind of like a dark humor, and Julie ends up as Chloe going to this exclusive island resort that she's invited by another social media influencer along with a group of, similar women for this retreat, and sinister secrets start coming out, and Julie wonders if she's going to get out of this island alive. It verges on becoming horror at times, and like I say, it's a little bit crazy, but I thought it was entertaining. This is another one that I read pretty quickly, and if you listen to her author talk, the author's also very young, and she was a skincare influencer for a period of time, so she had a lot of interesting things to say about online culture, and which comes out in the book as well. But this one was fun. Came out a couple months ago.
Does anyone from, if this might spoil anything, you don't have to say anything, but does anyone from Julie's past kind of ever, because I know she was a grocery store clerk, and like her aunt, I mean, no one ever comes like looking for her or wondering.
Well, she didn't have a very wide social circle. Like, she was struggling in her life. Her aunt does end up, kind of blackmailing her, but
Nice
yes.
family.
Oh, yes,
Seems
they
like
were
good people.
charming.
All the warm vibes.
Yes.
I'm intrigued by that one.
Yeah, so the next group we're going to talk about is books that we are looking forward to publishing. So I don't think any of us have read these books.
Nope.
But so I'm just going to do mine quick. It was called The Phoenix Pencil Company by Allison King. It comes out on June 3rd. So it came out recently, but I haven't read it yet. It's a debut novel. This one, I believe, is the Reese's pick, and she also has a program to bring writers up so that they get some exposure.
Women writers, right?
Yes, and this was one of those like winners. So this one is kind of a fantasy, I think. It's about this young woman who she has a very close relationship with her grandmother, and she's always worried about her, but she wants to find, I believe, her grandmother's missing cousin, and they're from China. She's lived through a couple world wars, but along the way, one of the places her grandmother worked was this Phoenix Pencil Company, and the women in her family have an unusual trait where they can reforge a pencil's words. So they have the ability to kind of write a story. So the premise, I believe, of this book is who owns and inherits our stories, which I find fascinating. I like historical fiction, but I also really like magical realism. So to me, this one looks like it's a really good combination of those two things. And oftentimes, I find someone's debut novel is usually one of their best. It's like what broke them into the publishing world. So hearing that this is a debut, a contest winner and everything, I'm really fascinated by the whole premise of this one to see what it's like.
That sounds interesting. I would not have expected to have like the magic elements,
Right.
Like, just like from
Yeah.
the title, like alone.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What's yours, Megan?
Okay, well, as a surprise to no one, it's a romance. Mine also came out June 3rd. It's called Battle of the Bookstores. It's by Allie Brady. I actually just picked it up. We had a copy here, and it's about two bookstore managers who are thrust into direct competition after the owner. So he owns both these stores on the same. Like I think they're either on the same storefront, like street, or they might even be right next to each other, which seems strange. But he decides to combine them into one store. And so, of course, there is Josie Klein, who is efficient and detail-oriented, and her store focuses on selling serious literature. Okay, while next door, easygoing and disorganized Ryan Lawson sells only romance.
Opposites attract.
So, yeah, which, I mean, I personally think romance is serious literature, but... So, of course, the two immediately clash, and their competing events and contrasting styles lead to frustration, but sparks, of course.
Sparks
And,
fly, people fall in love.
Yeah, blah, 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 But, of course, only one manager can be left standing, decided by who makes the most profit over the summer. So I guess even though they're still one store, like, their profits go to each other. But here's the fun twist. Their only solace during this chaos is the friendship they've each struck up with an anonymous friend in an online book forum.
I wonder
Guess who they're chatting
that
with?
could be.
So, of course, they're chatting with each other and they don't even know it. And so, as the rivalry heats up in real life, their online relationship grows. And when the walls between their stores come tumbling down, Josie and Ryan realize not all is fair in love and war. So I picked this one of my favorite. I don't know if it's a trope or a micro trope, but like the anonymous letters, emails. It's so cheesy. It's so cheesy, and it's going to lead to some third act breakup, which I'm gonna hate, but it'll be fine. I'll give it a pass. But
Divine Rivals. That's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
one
that's
of the
what I was
best
thinking.
letter
Which-
writing
yeah,
things
that's a good
ever.
series.
did you guys see it's
Duology.
getting picked up for TV movie?
No.
Oh gosh,
Oh my gosh, I'm freaking
I
out.
can't wait.
I know,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
Anyways, I
Yeah, I
digress.
really like that. Divine
It's so
Rival
good. I
series.
could sit here and talk about it forever. But so of course they hate each other in real life, but I like how like in like their messages they can like learn about each other, and then kind of in real life I like when they see bits of like their online friend in each other and they're like, well, maybe no, it couldn't be. But then they'll get mad and be like, well, I told you all this stuff about me and blah blah blah. But I don't know. I have
sounds
it.
cute.
I'm probably going to start it now that we've talked about it and I can say I haven't read it yet. I probably will be reading it very soon. I'm very excited.
Okay.
All right, what's yours, Molly?
Mine is called The Listeners by Maggie Stiefvater. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that wrong. If you like teen or young adult books, you may recognize the author's name.
Oh, I remember
Yeah,
her.
Yes, she wrote, I think, the Scorpio Races and the Werewolf.
Something about Raven, right? Like
Yep,
something about Ravens.
the
The
Raven
Raven
Boys.
Boys
Yes.
cycle was a
Shiver, Linger
paranormal.
were the werewolves. Yep.
Shiver, Linger, and Forever back when Twilight was big. She had a werewolf series. So this is her debut adult book, and it sounds like you may like it, Claire, because it is kind of difficult to categorize. It's historical fiction, but with some fantasy, magical realism, as well as a bit of a mystery and a slow burn romance.
Oh, that's my jam.
Yeah.
Right there.
So it is set in 1942, so during World War II, in the wilds of West Virginia at this luxury spa and hotel, which has been built on top of a mountain Sweetwater spring, which is supposedly has magical properties. So the main character is June, and she is a local girl who's risen up through the ranks to become this hotel's general manager. And the wealthy owners of the hotel strike up a secret deal with the U.S. State Department to house foreign enemies, like diplomats and their families from, this is World War II, so from Italy, Japan, and Germany. They're going to be detained at this hotel. But her and her staff have to treat them with a smile and provide them with luxury. And it's kind of difficult because most of her staff, they have family members, their brothers, their sons, their husbands who are going off to fight these very people. So if you've ever read anything by her, she kind of has this almost sinister, atmospheric type writing, and it sounds like this book is similar to that. And I think it sounds pretty
Really
cool.
interesting premise. I wonder if she went to the Greenbrier. Isn't that resort in West Virginia?
I'm not sure, but
Really
it says that
posh.
she, the historical details of this were pretty spot on.
Okay.
But then it's got the fantastical, magical realism elements too.
Interesting. Weaving a lot into that one story.
All right. So our last category is a book from your backlist. So I'm going to go real quick. I looked at this book or read this book when it first came out. So I read an advanced reader copy, and it's Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. So I kind of want to revisit it just because sometimes when I read a book in digital format, it's not the same for me as actually reading the physical book or possibly listening to it. So I'm
Yeah.
going to do a different format.
And this one, Meryl Streep narrated, and I have
really?
heard
Okay.
that she did a great job with Tom Lake.
Okay. So summer of 2020, Laura is our main character. All three of her daughters come back and they are begging their mother to tell them the story of her forbidden romance.
Yeah, during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they came
that
back
was
home.
back in the day when mom was young, before she was married. She played a summer stock theater with an actor named Peter Duke, who was very popular at the time, and they were in the play Our Town. So it kind of pays homage to Our Town, and then also what happened during that fateful summer and how she met her husband and some secrets and so forth. But it's a lot of family dynamics, which I also really love that, especially a mother-daughter kind of relationship. So, and to me, Ann Patchett, she's one of my favorite authors. I think her writing is gorgeous. She can describe a scene, I don't know. I love it. So that's
Yeah,
the one
there was a good one. I
I'm
remember
gonna
the
be
scene
revisiting.
with her and her daughters. They're picking cherries or
Right,
some sort of
they're
thing.
in a cherry orchard.
Yeah, like she
Yeah.
does set the scene
Okay.
very nice, and it seems like a good summer one.
All right.
Is that a Reese's book club?
Yeah, I think it was.
That feels very like Reese book
Yeah.
club, because I haven't read it, but it just sounds like something she would enjoy. Okay, so I picked The Roughest Draft. It's by Emily Wibberley and then Austin Sigmund Broca. They're a married couple, and they wrote this book. So this, I believe, is their only adult novel. They write a lot of teen stuff too. I know I just read. It's called Harris Takes All. I think. They also, this one was kind of weird. They wrote one about a pop singer who gets in a relationship with a normal a athlete. So people were like, oh, it's kind of Taylor Swifty. But I read this one this one was one of their first ones, and I loved it. But it's about best-selling co-writing authors Katrina Freeling and Nathan Van Heusen, who abruptly end their partnership on the heels of their greatest successes. So they won a bunch of awards for this novel that they wrote together, but then they abruptly split up, and they would not share those reasons with the public. They haven't spoken since then, and their plan was to never, ever, ever speak again, except for the fact that they have one final book due on their writing contract. So forced to reunite, the two hole up in a tiny Florida town where they wrote their previous bestseller, kind of hoping that will reignite, their writing and their ideas. And so they're trying to write a new manuscript as quickly and painlessly as possible, but it would be a lot less easier if obviously they hadn't hated each other for the last 3 years. And if the novel they were writing wasn't supposed to be a romance novel. So while passion and prose push them together in the Florida heat, Katrina and Nathan learn that their relationship, like writing, sometimes takes a few rough drafts before they get it right. So this is to me a perfect summer read. The cover is cute. They're in a swimming pool. They're reading in the pool. It's set in Florida. They write at the pool. It's warm. It's sunny. And of course there's unresolved tension. I read this recently after reading Beach Read by Emily Henry. When that came out, this one came out shortly after. And I was like, this is kind of the exact same book. But I actually liked this one better than Beach Read.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
I don't know if it's because of the forced proximity, kind of more tension than in Beach Read. They're neighbors, and one of them isn't able to write anymore, and so they like help each other write again, but like separate books. I just found like that the stakes were a little higher for this one, obviously, and with the tension. But I also liked. I think that like the authors are married and like they're a couple, so like obviously they haven't spent 3 years hating each other, but just like
Well, you never know.
yeah, maybe. But just like
There's the cynic jumping in.
maybe they do hate each other. This is a memoir.
3 years in
Yeah.
a long relationship. That's not.
But
not too bad.
I liked that they probably could have put some of their own experience, just like writing together. And I don't know. I try to reread this one in the summer. It's just light. It's easy and.
One of your summer favorites?
Yeah, one of my summer favorites. Like it always finds its way on like in a vacation. I'm like, well, what am I gonna read? I always just tuck that in my bag. That's a good one.
Nice.
I rarely reread books. I just feel like there's so many
Yeah,
new ones.
I'll kind of do what Claire does. Like if I do like a physical book, then I'll do like the audiobook. So maybe
that's a good idea.
Maybe I'll look for the audiobook of this one and switch up the format.
Yeah, that's a good idea. My backlist one isn't really that old. I think it came out about a year ago. It's called Pony Confidential by Christina Lynch, and it's a mystery. I didn't hear a lot of buzz about it when it came out, but I thought this book was really funny.
I liked it too.
Yeah, it's told in alternating points of view, and our first point of view is an animal narrator, Pony, and he is a snarky guy. He has some funny things to say. The other narrator is his now all grown up former owner, Penny. So Penny and Pony used to be best friends. Things were great. And then Pony got sold from the family abruptly when Penny was just 12 years old. So Pony since then has been not a happy camper. 25 years have passed. Since then, Penny's grown up. She's a teacher, a wife, a mother, when all of a sudden she is accused of a murder that happened 25 years ago when Penny and Pony were together back in Ithaca, New York. So she's accused of this murder. She is put in jail. She doesn't have enough money to afford a good lawyer, so she's stuck in jail and unable to prove her innocence.
But Pony is on the case.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Who else?
This doesn't even sound real.
No, it's not.
It's preposterous, but it's really funny.
It doesn't matter because Pony is such a funny character, and there's a lot of other great animal characters in this, including Dr. Rat, who is a rat, and he serves as Pony's psychotherapist. So Pony goes on this odyssey. It's kind of based on the Odyssey, going back to Ithaca, New York. This odyssey across the country. You know, he's on a boat, he's on a car, in a car, a truck. He survives a hurricane, wild horses on an island.
Because he knows what really happened that fateful evening.
But wait,
Yes.
there's like they're on like a boat with people, and then there's just a horse,
a pony.
a pony. Sorry.
There's a difference. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little preposterous,
I'm
and
gonna
I
read
didn't
it.
even care about the mystery, but the pony was just so funny.
Sounds like a modern retelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a goat named Cersei. I mean,
Oh my
like
gosh.
it really is Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like there's different things in there that point to that. And I've read it described as kind of a cozy mystery, but the author does have quite a bit to say about animal cruelty and kind of the flawed legal justice system. So I don't know if I'd quite call it a cozy because of that.
Yeah.
Like there's some serious topics, but Pony was a hilarious character.
Do
I
Pony
loved
and
him.
Penny reunite?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Yeah, you got to read it to find
fine.
out.
Okay, fine.
Maybe Penny really was the killer. Who knows?
That would be after Pony does all of that.
Nope.
Well,
All right. So there you've got it. We've got, I think, a book for every reader here for summer. So remember, all these books and more are available at Greece Public Library in print, ebook, or audiobook. And we'll put all the links to the titles in our show notes. So thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to come to our summer reading kickoff. And we will see you next time in July.
thanks.
Thank you.
Book Break is a production of the Greece Public Library, made possible through the support of the Friends of the Greece Public Library. Theme music composed and performed